Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm in a BMW X3. This is the f25 version. So we're going to have a little look around this car and I'm going to take it for a drive, let you know what I think. This car is all about practicality. So the first thing we'll do, let's have a look at how much space it's got, how practical it is, and we'll take it from there. Right, so it's got really quite a big boot. I've actually got a spare wheel in here. I like to just have that. I mean, it doesn't come with one. And then it's got, if you look at this side, you've got a hook there for your shopping. You've also got power outlet. So more than likely in this sort of car, you can hook it up to anything, you know, cooler when you're going away, things like that. You could easily fit a wheelchair and things like that in the back of this as well. Really enough space to take the full 5 people's worth of bags. Right, all of these come with the electric windows all round, so that's good, and really a lot of cubby hole space. You can put a drink there, can, anything like that. Yeah, it's got a good amount of legroom as well, so lots of space there. It's a bit bigger than the previous generation. It also has, for passengers at the back, you've got individual kind of climate control at the back, so you can control that. It's nice to have. And it's got all these little things like these reading lights, little hook there for suits and things. So really good, really spacious. Feels nice to be a bit higher up than a normal car as well. Also has airbags all round, so you've got curtain airbags throughout the car. This one actually, you know, this model, the F25, has an NCAP rating of 5 stars, so that's excellent. If there's just 2 people in the back, then you've got a nice armrest there. Bit disappointed, doesn't have anything inside here. Normally you do get a bit of extra storage, and these all as standard come with ISOFIX points for baby seats. Right, so this car is really easy to get comfortable. You've got adjustment here on the seats, you've got the bolsters here, which are actually controlled by this button just here electrically, so you can inflate or deflate them. So I'll just show you the impact there. That's deflated. You can just hear the motor going there. That's inflated. You've got height adjustment. Obviously you've got adjustment on the back. In terms of the actual steering wheel as well, you can see here, once you pull this lever, you can adjust it for reach and rake as well. So really nice, easy to get comfortable. This particular car also has keyless go on it, so nice and easy. Under this armrest, not a huge amount of space, but actually it's got a power point, it's got USB and auxiliary as well. I think these are quite important. All of these cars, all the X3s as stock standard, comes with iDrive. That includes sat-nav. Obviously the sat-nav, it's like with any car, you know, within a year it's not going to be able to compete with Android or Apple, and most people tend to use their phone, so that's why it's so good to have that auxiliary available there. Really practical, more cup holders there, another power outlet as well. All of these cars, regardless of the transmission, come with this handbrake, electric one, and that frees up the space that you'd normally get during a lever. So really, like, you know, it's almost like a floating center console. Right guys, let's take it for a spin. Like I do on most cars, I always leave the stop start off. It just doesn't do the turbos any good, whether it's a powerful car or something like this. This is a 2-litre diesel, 187 horsepower. In this model, about 80% of the sales have been in this spec. So everyone in the UK loves M Sport. brings with it different seats, stiffer suspension, different steering wheel compared to the SE model. 3 litre diesel, I've not driven one. Obviously it's much more powerful, but this is about as much as you need. It's enough to get you around. It comes with an 8-speed gearbox. This is a torque converter gearbox, so really nice and easy to drive. Does creep, unlike the DCT. The DCT gearboxes, they don't move when you put it in drive, and then when you touch the accelerator it jumps forward, so that's a bit annoying. And you know, it's nice to actually have a car that's high up and it doesn't feel, you know, like a 4x4. It feels very car-like to actually drive. This particular model, the F25, they will all come in permanent 4-wheel drive. You have the option of rear-wheel drive or 4-wheel drive on the X1, but anything X3 onwards is 4-wheel drive. One of my reasons for actually recording this review around town is because, you know, 99% of these cars, yeah, it's permanent 4-wheel drive. They're never going to see a farm or anything off-road. They're just used by average person, you know, driving around, really practical for the family. So it makes a lot of sense to just try it out in town, and it's pretty nice. It's very relaxing. The auto gearbox is good. It's not the sort of car you're going to push on. You know, 187 horsepower, it's enough for something like this. In terms of weight, 1800 kilos is what this weighs, which isn't too heavy considering it's permanent 4-wheel drive. It's a relatively big car. The equivalent from Audi would be a Q5. It's a bit bigger than a Range Rover Evoque as well, but not as big as the full-blown Range Rover Sport or anything like that. One of the advantages, even though cars are becoming more and more bland, for the likes of VW, Audi, all sharing the same engines and things, BMW do exactly the same thing. So the really good thing about this car, it's pretty reliable. Everything is tried and tested. It's used across a number of models. This engine you can get in anything from a 1 Series, 2, 3, 4, 5 Series even, exactly the same engine, so very reliable. Same with the gearbox as well. So that's always an advantage. Guys, so we're going to do the standard MPG test. I always say this every video, but it does allow me to look at what the car can do on a consistent basis. So the test is 60 miles an hour, 10 miles of road. Let's see what it ends up at. In the book, the official consumption for this car is around 50 mpg, so I'm thinking, you know, we should be able to meet that or get close to it at least. From the MPG test, it's average 55.3, so it's showing about 10% better than, you know, the standard manufacturer's rating, although it's not in a realistic condition. But I think everyday driving, if you're doing a lot of motorway, you probably average high 40s. Guys, so you know, even joining a slip road, is if you put your foot down, so as you can see, it's not overly fast, but it's more than enough to join motorway, A roads, slip roads, more than enough to get you out of trouble. And I think it's because it's quite torquey. It's got about 290 pounds of torque, as most diesels do. They have a lot more torque than actual horsepower. And coupled with this gearbox, the gearbox, it's got 8 speeds, so it's always going to pick the right gear. It also has a sport mode as well. Once you put it into sport mode, all it does really is it drops the gear lower than what you would expect, and it really changes a bit higher up at the red line. It's not the sort of car that you want to be driving around in sport. It does have a manual override as well. 8 gears, I think, you know, just better to just leave it in D without the sport mode and just drive along and enjoy it. It's just very comfortable. It's not the sort of car that you want to be pushing on it. And you know, you wouldn't really buy one of these to actually have fun driving it. So the decibel meter test is showing around mid-60s. So that's pretty quiet. Especially considering how high the car is, there isn't a lot of wind noise. I can hear a little bit around the mirrors here, but it's not bad. It's not kind of something that you'd find distracting. And I'm really surprised because it's got big tyres on it, it's 4-wheel drive. I was expecting a lot more road noise, and that's not been the case. So it's pretty comfortable. You can easily have a conversation at 70 miles an hour. It's no problem. Right everyone, that's the end of the review. Like I said, I thought it's quite a good car. It's decent on fuel, really practical. For a family, it's perfect around town. Motorways, long journeys, everything. If you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. And don't forget to share with friends and family. And I'll see you in the next video.